Alright, time for the solutions for the mastery quiz number 4 review. On these first one, you need to graph them first. This is just the equation of a line. Right here's your y-intercept, so start at 2. And your slope is what's in front of the x part. That's a slope of negative 3, so go down 3, right 1, and you'll get another point. And you just keep doing that, and you'll get tons and tons of points, like so, and you can graph that and it'll be beautiful, and yours should actually be straight because you can just put a straight edge on your work and have that lovely thing going on there. So your domain is how far left and right it goes left and right forever, so your domain is going to be all real numbers. Your function goes up and down forever, so your range is going to be all real numbers. My x-intercept is going to be here-ish. To figure that out, you really could just set this so y is 0, so the function 0, and now you have 0 equals negative 3x plus 2. Subtract 2 from both sides, and we got negative 2 equals negative 3x. If you divide by that negative 3, and you'll get x equals 2/3. So that's my x-intercept, so it's going to be 2/3, 0. And then my y-intercept's actually already figured out. It's right in my equation for my line. That's 0, 2. My function is going to be positive before it reaches my x-intercept, so from negative infinity until 2/3. And then my function's negative thereafter, so from 2/3 onward to infinity. And then my function is decreasing everywhere, so it has no increasing interval, but it is decreasing for all real numbers from negative infinity to infinity. And for my end behavior, you always start with as x approaches negative infinity for left end behavior. Well, if we keep going left, my function goes up without stopping, so it's going to be positive infinity. And then as x approaches positive infinity, as I go right, my function is going to keep going down and down without stopping, so it's going to approach negative infinity. And then j is my asymptote. What's the line it gets infinitely close to but doesn't cross? Well, this doesn't have it, so we're going to put none there. Moving on to the next one. To graph this is an exponential. Notice the exponent is where my variable is. You need to get a table going, and then from that, get your graph. So let's pick some x values, so like negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and then get the y values that go with it. Just take each of these x values and plug them in to the negative. First is 1/2, minus 3 is going to give me negative 2.5. And then if you plug in 0, that's 2 to the 0 power, which is 1, minus 3 is going to give me negative 2. If you plug in 1, you're going to get 2 to the first, 2 to the first is 2, minus 3 is going to give me negative 1. If you plug in 2 to the second power is 4, minus 3 is going to give me 1. And then if you plug in 3, you're going to get 2 to the third, which is 8, minus 3 will give me 5. So now I've got my points ready to go. So I'm going to go negative 1, negative 2.5, which is going to be here-ish. And then 0, negative 2. And then 1, negative 1. And then 2, 1. And then 3, 5. So I'm getting a pretty good feel for what my function's doing now. It's going to go horizontal there. And now I can get going. My domain, how far left and right it goes? Well, it goes left and right first, so I can have all real numbers. My function doesn't go past this little line here, which is actually the asymptote, so let's fill that in real quick. It's going to be y equals that height, which is negative 3. It's down negative 3. For my domain, the farthest down it goes is going to be negative 3, and it goes up from there. So negative 3 to infinity. My x-intercept, we actually don't have the methods to figure out exactly what it is right now, but we're going to say it's 2/3. And then my y-intercept is at 0, negative 2. We already figured that one out. It's right there. Let's see, what's next? Where is it positive? Well, it's positive after you've reached your your x-intercept there. And my x-intercept should not be 2/3. We're more looking at like, what would that be? We're looking more like 1 2/3, which is 7/3. We're going to say it's 7/3. And so it's positive after 7/3, so that's where it's going to start, and it goes on forever to the right, so to positive infinity, and it's negative before you reach that, so from negative infinity to 7/3. And the next one is, where's my function? Increasing, well, it's increasing everywhere, so from negative infinity to infinity. It is decreasing nowhere, because it's increasing everywhere. And then my end behavior always starts out the same. As x approaches negative infinity, and then my function is going to keep going down and down, but closer and closer to -3, but never actually reaching it. And then let's make that a period. And then as my x approaches positive infinity, my function is going to keep going up and up and up and up and up. And it just keeps going up without bounds. So it's going to go to positive infinity, and 2 is done. So let's move on to 3. Again, this is exponential. Notice the exponent is where my variable is. You need to plug in some numbers just like -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. And you just plug those in. 3 to the negative second power is 1/9. So that's going to give me -1/9 because it has the negative out front. And if you plug in -1, you're going to get 1/3, so it's going to be -1/3. If you plug in 0, you're going to get 1, put the negative in front of it. If you plug in 1, you're going to get 3 the first, which is 3, with the negative in front of it, so it's -3. If you plug in 2, you're going to get 9, and make sure you put the negative in front of it. So there we have some points going on for us. -2 is going to give me -1/9, and then -1, -1/3, and then 0, -1, 1, -3, and then 2, -9. So this one actually is growing pretty steep here. Like that. And it gets really, really close to my x-axis there. And that's actually where my asymptote is. The height of that line is going to be 0, so it's the equation y equals 0. My range, my domain is going to be all real numbers because it can pick any number for my x, and it works out. The range, on the other hand, is going to be a little bit different because it doesn't go past 0 up top. It does go down from there, so from negative infinity up until you reach 0. This one does not have an x-intercept, so you just put none there. My y-intercept is going to be right there. We already figured that out. That is 0, -1. The next one is asking where is it positive. Well, it's never positive, so you can put none there. It is negative everywhere. It's always below my x-axis, so all my y's are negative. And you can tell that just from the negative out front there. G, where is it increasing? Well, it's not increasing at all. It's decreasing everywhere. So that's going to be from negative infinity to infinity. And then my end behavior as x approaches negative infinity. What's my function do? Well, it keeps going up and up and closer to 0. So that's going to be my left end behavior. As my x approaches positive infinity, though, as I keep going right and right and right, my function keeps going down and down and down, and no without stop. So it's going to go down to negative infinity, and that one's good to go. And number 4, let's get this whole front page done all at once. This is the equation of a line. My y-intercept is going to be the -5, and we have a slope of 1/2, so go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. And I'm getting my line going on through here, like so. So that one looks good. I'm going to have an x-intercept right there at 10, 0, and my y-intercept's at 0, -5. So let me fill that in real quick. So 10, 0 before I forget. And my y-intercept's going to be 0, -5. And let's talk domain and range. So domain, how far left and right it goes? Well, it goes left and right first. So we're going to have all real numbers. You can pick any x value you want. And you can also get any y value, at least any real number y value out. So my range is going to be all real numbers as well. We already talked intercepts. This one's going to be positive after 10. So to the right of 10 is where it's positive. So 10 to infinity. It is negative before you reach 10. So from negative infinity until you reach 10. My function is increasing arrow. So it's going to be from negative infinity to infinity. Since it's increasing everywhere, it's not going to be decreasing at all. There's no interval where it's decreasing. For my end behavior, we're going to have as x approaches negative infinity, as I go left and left and left. What's your function do? Well, it keeps going down and down and down without stopping. So my function is going to approach negative infinity. And then for my right-hand behavior, as x approaches positive infinity, my function keeps going up and up and up without bounds, so it's going to approach positive infinity. And as for j, my asymptotes, there are no asymptotes. There's no line it gets infinitely close to but doesn't cross, so we're going to have none. And that's going to be it.